Hey guys, it is Jessica, and today I am here to share with you the journey of how I became an SLP. So this is just my SLP journey. This is my own personal experience. I'm kind of nosy, and I'm always curious like what other people's journeys have been like. So I just thought I would lay mine out and share it with you today. Just, I guess, the highlight reel up to this point. As I'm filming this, I am 32, and I have been working since I was 24. I graduated a semester early from undergrad and a semester early from graduate school. So I'm a bit of an overachiever, if you couldn't tell. I feel like anybody who even just has a YouTube channel is probably an overachiever, right? Okay, you will see that in this whole story. Okay, so anyways, that's me. I've been working since I was 24. It's what, 8 years? I am from the Dallas area, but I got my undergrad degree at a school called Harding. It is a Christian school in Arkansas. And I started at Harding. I graduated high school in 2008. So I started Harding fall of 2008 as a nursing major. I went with nursing because that's what my mom did. And my personality is very much a healthcare service oriented kind of person, but I also have kind of a creative streak in me. And so that was not really being addressed with the nursing side, but the service healthcare side was what was drawn to me, what appealed to me with that career path. But I started it, and I hated the classes. It was too much science. And it was at Harding, they have a lot of pride in their nursing program. It's a very good nursing program, and they really want to like weed you out. Like, I was coming in as a brand new freshman. I was taking like junior level anatomy. I was fully capable, guys, but they scared Jesus out of me. And I like just tanked it, and I really, really struggled. And it was anatomy that made me like, nope, not doing this. This is too much work. I don't want to be a nurse anymore. So anyways, totally bombed anatomy as a nursing major. Again, I was a freshman, so I wasn't really going that far yet. But I knew that I did not want to do nursing. Oh, and I had to take a nursing class. This was like my second semester as a freshman, and we had to do this thing where we like would give each other exams. And I distinctly remember we would like partner up, and one of the things was we had to get like a piece of tissue paper, and we had to like touch somebody's tongue and examine it. And it was interestingly that I'm an SLP, but it was the nastiest thing to me. I was like, I cannot stand holding your tongue while it wiggles around in my finger with this tissue paper. It was so gross to me. So those two experiences, that class and anatomy, made me like, okay, no, don't like it. So I went to Zambia, Africa, the summer after my freshman year. A little back history, my great-grandparents were missionaries in Zambia, and so it's kind of like a not a family tradition, but it's important to my family that I had this opportunity to go, and I got to kind of like go and see where my great-grandparents established their mission. Anyways, so I did this mission trip in Zambia. And while I was there, I met my very first speech pathologist. I had never heard of what an SLP was before. And so I met this, her name was Becca, and we talked, and I was like, that sounds like a really cool job. Like, I totally want to do this. She actually worked with adults. And so she told me all about that, and she said, hey, when we get back, you can come and like observe me. And I was like, oh, I would love to do that, because I still wasn't completely sold that I wanted to change my major. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So we got back from Zambia, and she actually happened to be in the Dallas area too, because remember, this is summer break. And so she was at this like retirement center and said, hey, you can come observe me. So I went and observed her, and y'all, I was so late. There was traffic, and it was raining, and I woke up that morning and there was no power in my house, so I had to go to my cousin's house to get ready, because I was trying to make a good impression, because I really wanted to impress her. And I go, show up late. And as a seasoned SLP now, I feel horrible. She was waiting for me. I jacked up her whole schedule. I hate when my schedule gets jacked up. I don't even like being like 2 minutes off my schedule because I'm a little bit like, so I feel bad. I actually did that to her twice. She let me observe her again to get hours for observing her. And I was late again, and she never let me observe her again, guys. I feel so bad about that. But anyways, sorry if we're coughing in your ear. When I observed her and I watched her with these adults in a nursing home facility, I loved it. I was like, I'm going to work with adults. This is amazing. This is what I'm going to do. Like I've got a plan. So I switched my major. So finished out my undergrad at Harding. It was great. Nothing, significant happened. But I did get engaged while I was finishing up my last semester. And I wanted to come back to Dallas because that's where my fiance, now husband, was. And UT Dallas was the only UTD was the only graduate school that had a fall or a winter opening. Like I started in January. Everybody else started in the fall after the summer, but because I graduated a semester early, I needed to get in January. So UTD was the only grad school in the Dallas area that had an opening where they were taking new students in January. So I applied. It was the only graduate school I applied to because that's all there was. And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And they had told me, okay, that you'll get your answer by whatever day. And that day came and it went. And I kept calling and calling and calling hey guys, I really need to know if I got in. Finally found out I was number 1 on the waiting list. And so I don't know how I managed. Somebody told me that, but anyways, so I'm number 1 on the waiting list. I'm waiting, praying that somebody doesn't want to go to UTD. Thankfully, they don't. I get in the very first and only place I applied to graduate school in January. Finished out graduate school at UTD. Loved it. The very first program I did was called the early class. If any of you guys have ever been to our UTD grads, you've probably heard of it. Life-changing for me. That is where I fell in love working with students with autism. My little boy that I was assigned with after I finished that semester, I actually babysat him and another little boy with severe autism all throughout graduate school, and I just fell in love with them. And that is where I think I got so much of my love and skills of working with these younger students and this specific population. But fast forward a little bit, finished graduate school, and I'm looking for a job. And if you've already watched my video of what my CFY was really like, it sucked. And I'll link it in one of these things up here. Okay, but it sucked. Didn't make enough money. Totally felt like they were not super forward with me with the home health. Sorry, that's where I started. Home health. Started in home health, couldn't get enough clients. It was a nightmare. So I went to a outpatient facility and I kind of meshed the two of them. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday was home health. Tuesday, Thursday was outpatient. Hated all of it. I was miserable, absolutely miserable. And decided after a year of doing that, I can't do this. This is horrible, not for me. I had drug my feet in and said, I will never, ever, ever, ever do a school. Wouldn't you know it, I ended up in the public schools. And I loved it. I finished out my CFY there because I worked a full year at home health and the outpatient, and I did not get enough hours to finish my CFY. I was so embarrassed. I was the only one in my class. I graduated early and I didn't even finish before then. Anyways, so loved the public schools. Loved it. We actually had a self-contained autism unit on my campus. It was amazing. I was so sad to leave, but what ended up happening, I got pregnant, and then I got pregnant again right after that, and my husband and I decided I needed to take a break, and I needed to stay home with my babies more. I've never regretted that decision. I've missed the school. We moved back to be closer to my husband's family, and at that point, around the time my son was born, my firstborn, I started TPT. And that was before I quit the school. I actually did 1 year at the school while he was a baby. And I had a friend who convinced me to start TPT. She had started it. She had quit her job to stay home with her daughter. And she's like, Jessica, you can totally do this. It's like, I couldn't, y'all, I had no idea. I didn't know how to do anything. I've learned all of this from scratch, and I'm so proud of myself for that. But she convinced me, and I started it. And the first year was horrible. It was just too much working full time in the schools, having a newborn, and trying to learn literally everything from scratch with TPT. So I just kind of took a break. I did it all my maternity leave, and then when I went back to school, it's like, I can't, it's just too much. So then when I was pregnant with my daughter and I quit my full-time job in the public schools, I really got like into TPT and wanted it to not be like a full-time income or anything like that. I just started to really like it, and I found that I was honing my skills as a therapist when I wasn't working, because I finally had time to sit and think through things and learn like how to actually teach things instead of just throwing worksheets at my kids or just randomly grabbing at materials. I started to make a strategy. And so that's what you'll see in a lot of my resources on TPT, is that there's a strategy and a skill to it because I've had time to sit and think through it. So started TPT. In my TPT journey, I wrote a book, Devin Makes a Friend. I actually wrote it for my son, and it's all about strategically teaching social skills of making a friend. So that's part of my journey as well, and I'm really proud of, because I never thought, when I was hating my life at the outpatient facility because my supervisor was beating me down saying I wouldn't go anywhere. She literally told me I would not make it as an SLP. I'm still bitter. I wrote a book, and I'm really proud of it. So here I am now. I actually work at a private school part-time, TPT part-time. I'm experimenting, dabbling in this YouTube thing. If you would like to check out my store, there's always a link in the description, and the link to the book is always in the description as well. I hope you enjoyed my story. I know it was a little bit long and rambly, but I hope you found some connecting points. And if there's anything that connects with you, I would just love to hear it. So anyways, this was my journey as an SLP. My experience where I went from beginning to end. So
yes, I'm not allowed to be frivolous.
Okay, y'all, that was Siri. I don't know if you heard her or not. Apparently she thought I said her name when I said SLP or something. Okay, I'm done. All right, I hope you guys had fun listening to me ramble, and I will talk to you later.